Issues in Youth Month, and we've got Buti Manamela, Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Simpiwe Dana and Yershan Pillay from the National Youth Development Agency, the NYDA. And if you're a young person in South Africa, today's your day to get your questions out, share your concerns, and perhaps even offer solutions and suggestions of how we can move this country forward, particularly for you. You are the custodians of the country's future. So, and on Twitter at Morning Live SABC, Yonela Sihle Jindela says, I have just registered a company. How can the NYDA assist me with funding? That's a question that comes up all the time. What should they do?
Well, we have two programs for young entrepreneurs. And again, it's not just the NYDA that offers support. There are many other state entities and private sector companies who also offer support, whether it be financial support in terms of access to finance or non-financial support. In the NYDA, and the flagship program is the NYDA Business Grant Program for micro and small businesses, which offers between 1,000 to 100,000 rand worth of financial support, but also offers non-financial support in terms of mentorship, etc. And a young person who wants to start small and grow their business should then be able to approach any one of our 14 branches and apply for the NYDA Business Grant Program. But we do know that many young people want to start, have their dreams realized by starting big, and they want to start medium or large enterprises. For them, we have the NYDA CIFA IDC loan program. It's a 2.7 billion rand fund providing loans together with non-financial support through the NYDA. And that, again, can also be accessed through any one of the NYDA's 14 branches or through any one of CIFA or IDC's infrastructure that they currently have. And so with these two types of programs, the grant program and the loan program, a young entrepreneur will be able to access funding for their business.
All right, I'm going to stick with you for another question here from someone who calls himself Charismatic Leader. It says, let the NYDA target townships that have already been civilized. I don't know what that means. You won't believe that in the Northwest we only have one branch. I guess this is what you were talking about, capacity, isn't it? Is this something that you're ongoingly addressing?
Indeed. The biggest challenge in the NYDA right now is our current budget. With 409 million rand, no matter how effective, efficient, and lean you are, there's only so much you can do. And when you have a youth population of 19.5 million, with 3.2 million looking for some kind of opportunity, that kind of budget is not sufficient. It's not sufficient to establish new offices. Yes, we have an office in Rustenburg. Yes, we have partnerships with municipalities, 178 local youth offices, but it's not enough. And this is really the new approach to youth development that we are trying to enshrine. We had a program in Morakweng in the Northwest, for example, where we exposed young people in that particular area to various products and services, not just of the NYDA, but of government as a whole. But again, with limited resources, it really requires a more collective effort to reach every young person.
Look, I mean, what we've said to the NYDA board, that they can't say no to any young person who comes into their offices and say, I've got a business proposal. They've got to make that business proposal work. And that's what we've been seeing the results of that, with more and more young people getting interested into entrepreneurship. But secondly, that we've been fighting in Parliament for more money for the NYDA, because with I think 14 branches, there's only so much that you can do. But what the National Youth Policy 2020 also does is that it obligates local government to set up youth offices, so that the NYDA can use those youth offices as an extension to provide their service. Because the biggest problem is not whether you need this intervention of a youth development agency or not. The biggest problem is ensuring that you expand NYDA services and products. And this is the big fight that we've been having with in Parliament. There are many political parties who say they've got the interest of young young people at heart. But when we say, let's expand services to young people, they're the first one to block that. Obviously, harping on, some old stories about what the NYDA was and not judging it on the basis of the progress that has been made.
You're sitting in the presidency. Can't you whisper in the president's ear? And then perhaps he can pick up the phone to Minister Nhlanhla Nene and say, we need money.
But the point, the point is, because we're in a democracy, budgets are decided by Parliament. But I think what has also been, impressive was the fact that in the last financial year, the NYDA has been able to raise, I think, close to 90 million rand from the private sector. But we need more of those initiatives to ensure that we are able to take further, youth development work.
All right, okay, let's go to our tables. Table number 16, Hao Piliwa is there, and I think he's talking about entrepreneurship as well. If you could just stand up, say your name, thanks.
Thanks. My name is Hao Palelwe Sanswere. I'm a senior scientist at NEXA and also an executive chairperson of the South African Young Youth Professional Society. I just want to ask one question. What programs or interventions do you have from the presidency through to NYDA to ensure that the youth of this country, especially those from rural communities, beneficiate in true sense from the massive nuclear new bill that will be announced soon by the Minister of Energy in terms of skills development and also enterprise development to ensure that they are suppliers of components to the industry, also taking cognizance of the status quo of the industry, also the massive and intensive supplier accreditation and certification process. And then on another note, I just want to understand how can we use NYDA and people like Ms. Simphiwe Dana to do outreach campaign to ensure that the public of the youth of this country understand what the industry is all about and what opportunities are there. Thank you.
All right, so a lot to think about. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick break to think about this, and then we'll come back and give an answer right after this. Stay with us.